Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Just thinking about what John, our engineer, and I were talking about. He said, we're going to go live. And I said, right now? He said, yeah, right now. Really? So here we are. Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. And we're broadcasting live from Missouri, high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains at the farm. And there's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. John is engineering the broadcast at Genesis Communications Network in Minnesota. I'm Vincent Finelli, and I'm delighted to be broadcasting today with Rich Scheben. Welcome, Rich Scheben.
Thank you, Vince. How are you this morning?
I'm frosted. I really am. Let me tell you why. You shouldn't have asked, Rich. I'm going to probably launch into a mild tirade. Yesterday, I decided that it was time to renew an order for checks. We still use those old-fashioned pieces of paper that you tear out of a checkbook and you write the entry into a check ledger. And the company that we previously bought them from was called the Bradford Exchange. And they claim that they've got up to 70% off bank check prices, and you can order them via the phone, you can order them via the internet. And all I wanted to do was reorder, get more of the same. So I got on the website, BradfordExchangeChecks.com, and I'm filling out the information, and I'm trying to find out exactly how this works because I'm having trouble finding the price, the total price. Well, during the process, I am entering the information. I say, you know what? I don't see how much shipping it costs. So I call them up, and they say, oh, we don't charge for shipping. Shipping's free. We have a handling charge. So right then and there, I should have known. I should have known I don't want to do business with these guys because they don't have a shipping charge. They have a handling. Shipping is free, but they charge you to handle the checks. Well, I decided to continue with the order, and I disconnected from that particular call and went back to entering the information on the internet, and I couldn't get the checks to say what I wanted them to say. Now, bear in mind, class, you don't have to have your name and your social security number and your address on your checks. You don't have to. You could have your checks say Marilyn Monroe. They could be for Vincent Finelli or Rich Scheben, but they could say Marilyn Monroe. That's it. That's it. So when someone gets a hold of your checks and signs Marilyn Monroe, and you go to the bank and you go, I didn't write this check. They go, well, it's signed right here. It says Marilyn Monroe. You go, well, come on, you know me. My name's Vincent Finelli. Why would I sign my checks Marilyn Monroe? Okay, so there's a really neat reason for doing what I do. So I wanted the checks to say the same thing they used to say, which is USAPrepares.com. And I certainly don't sign the checks at USAPrepares.com. I sign them with my name in my signature, or my autograph, I should say. All right, so anyway, I couldn't get them to just say that. They wanted an address, line 2, and city, state, zip, all that kind of stuff, and I'm not willing to do that. So I get on the phone. I figure this guy's got more tools in his box than I have on the internet, and I ask him to complete the order, and he does, and he says, okay, now we have this feature, and it's called Easy Shield, and you don't want to be without Easy Shield. It's $2.50 a box, and I wanted 2 boxes. So it's $5 for Easy Shield. That's fraud protection. I said, I don't want that. He was kind of concerned that I wasn't concerned about not having fraud protection. So finally he agreed not to put that on. And then we go to the handling fee. Well, he said, now normally it'd take up to 3 weeks to get these checks, but for $8.95, we're going to get them to you in a few days. I said, I don't want that. I want regular shipping. And he was kind of surprised that I wanted just regular shipping. And his tone kind of changed. I said, you know what? I just want the regular shipping at $2.50 a box. And he was, not really all that happy with me. And I was very, very pleasant. And I said, you know what? Forget the whole thing. I don't want them anymore. I don't want the checks anymore. So I went outside. Mrs. Finelli was outside with the dog. And I said, well, we're not getting any checks. And here's the point of that whole story, Rich. I am absolutely positively voting with my wallet. People give me a hard time. People try to bait and switch. People try to add on to my bill, and I don't want that. I'm not going to put up with it. Absolutely not. So we just gave them like a 4, 5, 6 minute commercial on Bradford Exchange, how they operate. So if you're thinking about buying checks from Bradford Exchange, you might want to consider what happened to me. And all I want is my one line on the checks with USA Prepares. That's all I want on them. And I couldn't get that. I had to have 2 lines. And I didn't want that. And I didn't want the Easy Shield fraud protection at $2.50 a box. And I didn't want the super fast 3-day shipping. I just wanted the regular shipping at the regular price. And it was too difficult to get that. So that's kind of one of the things that you and I wanted to talk about today. Not particularly Bradford Exchange, but America's fallen down.
Yeah, and it's time for all of us to vote with our wallets against the big corporate oligarchies and our fascist system that government is protecting those big corporations and monopolies and basically eliminating the small and medium-sized businesses where we can't control our own destiny. But, when you were talking about voting with your wallet, a lot of people, this is an analogy here, but a lot of people are voting with their feet. As you know, Vince, I do a lot of radio shows and talks and stuff, and there's so much information there that people are leaving places where there's gun-free zones, sanctuary cities, because they are fearing for their life, for their health, for their future. And that's what we need to do. We need to vote with our wallets. We need to vote with our feet. And we need to start being able to control our own destiny. The average person is losing that feeling. And, one of the things that we talked about off the air yesterday that you wanted me to discuss was kind of an inspirational, motivational perspective of life. And I know the stories in my book, and I've mentioned it on your program once or twice over the past several years. I'm just going to give a little rehash of what happened to me, folks. I had a dream growing up in New York City to move out to the Northern Rockies and do the mountain man thing. Well, I ran into a lot of walls regarding subsets under political correctness, specifically affirmative action and quotas. And my plan A was to get a job with the New York City Fire Department at 19 when I was bench pressing 360 pounds. I could easily do over 100 push-ups, walk through a wall. Well, that was the year that some women's groups of New York City had complained because they couldn't pass the physical test. So what happened was they sued New York City to lower the bars of standards and expectations. Now, I knew quite a few New York City firemen, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted that job. And being that I was a white male, unless I had veterans credits, which I didn't for that particular year, there's no way I would have gotten on board because of the affirmative action and quotas. And apparently, from what some firemen told me, there was some deaths because they didn't have the strength to pull certain people out of the fire. So when you lower the bars of standards and expectations, folks, it has nothing to do with these politically correct buzzwords that the powers that be are throwing at us, like equality, fairness, tolerance, transparency, accountability, diversity. Folks, I live off-grid. 0.1% of Americans live off-grid. Don't you think I should be in that diversity column? All this is designed to do is to insult the ability, the work ethic, and the intelligence of all these people who are thrown in these groups. And then you destroy America as a whole, because the productivity, the ingenuity of America has been destroyed, and the overall accountability and prosperity that's associated with the middle class is absolutely threatened. So this is designed to distract, dumb down, and especially divide us into groups. When the powers that be lower the bars of standards and expectations and rewards mediocrity, this has nothing to do with equality. This has everything to do with division, because it does not create synergy. And so anyway, my goal was to get my pension at 39, come to Montana, live off-grid, hunt and fish my butt off, and just live my dream. Well, since that didn't work out, I went to upstate New York in the Adirondacks, and I got a degree in forestry. My plan B was to come out to Montana, get a job with the National Forest Service. Long story short, I went to an interview. The old guy, who was probably younger than me today, told me that I cannot hire you, son, because you are a white male. Now, when you really look at the overall left-right paradigm, we all know by now it's false and phony. The Democrat, Republican, it's all theater, okay? The true paradigm, folks, is vertical. It's the aristocracy versus the serf. So when people say white male, what they really mean, and attorneys have told me this, is that if you're poor/middle class, white male, heterosexual with a Christian name, you have no, and attorneys have told me this, victim group status or protectionist group status. This is designed to overwhelm the system, to turn our heads, to break our will. And again, when you reward mediocrity, there's absolutely no way that a country and an economy will not fail. And that's where we're at right now. Now, I want to go into a little more detail and specificity, Vince, and you know and we'll do that after the break.
Class, Rich Scheben is with us, and I know Rich Scheben. He's been to the farm. He stayed here at the farm with us. He's been to the Get Prepared Expo. We've been on the air many times, and I hope he doesn't bait me into saying something that I might regret. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely on advertisements. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class, Rich Scheben's with us, and he's an author. His book is called One New York Man's Journey to Off-Grid Living in Montana. It's available on Amazon. And I just posted the link to Rich Scheben's website and Katie Singer's website on Facebook. And the only thing I use Facebook for is to update who will be on the show and what we're going to be talking about. The only use that I have for Facebook. So, Rich Scheben, please continue. We're talking about, wouldn't it be nice to be one of these groups, right? Get special treatment, special privileges?
Well, actually, sarcastically, I would say yes, but in the
that's
long
what I'm
run,
saying.
This doesn't benefit the American people at all. Now,
you're absolutely right. I am being sarcastic. I am being sarcastic,
and I know you are. And the next part of the story, folks, is political correctness out of control, which is chapter 2 of my book. I want to make a long story short. What it basically is about fighting for truth and standing for principle. So I'm going to give you a little story of what happened to me when I was working with GlaxoSmithKline. I was in the pharmaceutical industry for over 20 years, and I found out how corrupt this company was, and the industry as a whole. So anyway, long story short, I was having a lot of problems with my lumbar and my cervical spine. And I'll tell you some of the symptoms I live with at the end of this discussion here. I was asking for a part-time job share. The fleet department was handing out company cars, and they told me to stop ruining the driver's seat. I ruined 2 driver's seats because of all the squirming I was doing because of the pain. Now, during this period, my last few years with Glaxo, I had consulted a good 30 attorneys at least. They told me, and again, I'm making a long story short, to avoid the health services department, because health services provides in-house medical evaluations from the company, and these evaluations are deliberately designed to protect GlaxoSmithKline from a lawsuit. And if I submitted to an examination, I could be forced out of a job, and I was in my 30s at the time. I would have been placed in a sophisticated database that would hold record of my spinal ailment and prevent me from having health insurance or even employment for the rest of my life. I was told, again, I'm really going long story short here, by Human Resources that part-time job shares were for women only. Now, I was driving with painkillers, folks, for years, okay, risking my life on the road as well as other people's. I could not quit. I could not resign because my attorneys told me that once I got this diagnosis on paper or in today's sophisticated computer bases, I would most likely be done. In other words, forcefully retired. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I had great numbers. I was an excellent employee, had all the awards to prove it. Basically, the attorneys told me that I could not sue. I even had medical evaluations. Doctors write letters to GlaxoSmithKline requesting a 50% reduction in driving, but it was to no avail. And Glaxo made it very clear that they would prefer to see my spine deteriorate, have me quit, be killed in a car accident, or fired in lieu of giving me a part-time job share just because of political correctness. Now, again, attorneys told me, and I'm quoting here, I didn't have victim group status. I have a 1 in 1,000 chance of fighting reverse discrimination. One attorney told me if I was a female and treated the same way, I'd be on the 5 o'clock news with a $10 million settlement before the end of the day. And this is my favorite quote from an attorney. He says, as a poor/middle-class white male heterosexual with a Christian name, you don't have enough group self-pity points. Now, when all this was going on, Vince, there was a woman in the town that I was living in, another pharmaceutical rep from a different company. She had sued for life-changing money because she overheard 2 white males telling a joke. Now, I want to go off into a little tangent here for a moment. Folks, we're all imperfect sinners. Whether it be GlaxoSmithKline, we all make mistakes. But when people or companies or corporations become self-righteous and they tell us how to live and they demand different rules, laws, and accountability, depending on what group you're in, no good's going to come of it. And I'll expand on that after the break.
Yeah, and I've got a question for you, Rich Scheben. Do you think we've become more creative, more innovative? Have we built better products? Have we expanded our economy with all of this special group status? I don't think so.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
911, what is your emergency? There's somebody in my house. Hurry, please.
A home break-in happens every 22 seconds. Homes without a security system are up to 3 times more vulnerable to a burglary. That's why there's Simply Safe. In an emergency, our advanced wireless technology alerts police up to 10 times faster, and your connection to emergency services can't be cut because Simply Safe doesn't rely on landlines. Simply Safe costs less than half what traditional companies charge, just $14.99 a month, and there's no commitment to an annual contract. Protect your family with the highest caliber security. Go now to simplysafedefense.com and get 10% off with free shipping and a 3-year warranty. Hurry, and you'll also receive a keychain remote worth $25. Try Simply Safe for a full 60 days. You'll feel confident that your family is safe or your money back. Go to simplysafedefense.com right now. simplysafedefense.com.
Plus, Rich Sheben's with us, offgridmontana.com. Offgridmontana.com is his website. And Rich, you've been describing what has happened to us here in America and why we are falling in productivity, in esteem. We've lost our position as the envy of the world. And,
yeah,
it's sad. It's really, really sad. Please continue.
Yeah, thank you, Vince. And, folks, this is why, if you've ever heard me on the air, I always say that we must demand to have the same rules, laws, and accountability for everybody. Because when you have a fascist system where the big oligarchy is protected or creates an alliance with big government, and they have revolving doors between big CEOs and big government officials, there's absolutely no way that we can be protected. Now, let me mention just a few articles here, okay? Big Pharma, criminality, no longer a conspiracy theory, bribery, fraud, price fixing, now a matter of public record. This is by GlaxoSmithKline. GlaxoSmithKline pleads guilty to bribery, fraud, and other crimes. Pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline accidentally, and this is in quotes, released live concentrated polio virus in the environment in Belgium. Bet you didn't hear about that one. Drug giant pleads guilty, fined $3 billion for marketing, illegal promotion of some of its products, failure to report safety data, alleged false price reporting as part of the largest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history. U.S. media blackout. Italian court rules vaccines cause autism. This is about a GlaxoSmithKline product. Just recently, a few weeks ago, I read another article. It was very small and hidden. GlaxoSmithKline paying out $63 million to vaccine victims. And I can go on and on and on. Because we're on the air, we don't have the time. I'm not going to do that. But folks, if you did any of this, 1/10 of this, would you be in business? Not only would you not be in business, you'd be in jail. So what I'm trying to do, folks, is make people realize that we have to fight for our dreams, our goals, our health, and ourselves. in the present system. And we need to stick together. We need to have synergy and avoid this division and call the powers that be on when they try to divide us by groups and lower the bars of standards and expectations. And more importantly, have a special set of rules, laws, and accountability based on what group you're in. Now, I mentioned earlier I was going to mention a few of the symptoms I deal with. I don't usually do this because I don't want people to give up. I want people, I still live my dream. I even hunt and fish. I do everything with moderation and modification. I harvest my own firewood. I run the chainsaw about 20 minutes per week. Everything is moderation and modification. That's one of my main mottos. Now, what I'm dealing with, my whole right side of my body and both of my arms, I have major atrophy and pain and nerve damage. My back right side of my skull is either numb or has excruciating headaches, and I suffer once in a while from heart attack type symptoms in the left side of my chest. In fact, I was on a moose hunt up in British Columbia a couple of years ago, and my guide took me to the hospital to get an EKG because he was so worried about me. And I've lost about 90% of the strength in my arms and hands. I'm not doing this to brag. I'm not doing this for sympathy. I am telling you that the powers that be are doing everything to basically create a soft kill in America and reduce or eliminate middle-class prosperity. And it's up to us to come together. Folks, we as a culture have abdicated our responsibility to contribute to the future, not just health, but finance and everything, every category, economics as well, social, political. We have to start educating each other and stop waiting around for corporations and government entities to do it for us. We have to take matters into our own hand and change the system for our own benefit. It doesn't matter if it's politically correct or not. Work doesn't begin with charities, social welfare organizations, or official authorities. It begins with me and you as free-thinking individuals. Your willingness to help others can encourage the same in those around you. We need to trigger a tidal wave of independent action and no longer rely on the state to fix our problems. The state is broken, and a broken system is incapable of mending the ailments of others. It's time for us to step in and take over. And when you look at the overall corruption and manipulation that's undergoing with this fascist system in America, Vince, when I say poor middle class, I'm talking the bottom 93%, which are turning into being a bunch of hamsters on a treadmill running to nowhere because we can't control our own destiny. Never mind jobs, never mind savings accounts, never mind investment, even being poisoned by our own food, by our water. Look at how many people who are listening to this program live in urban, suburban America. Municipal water has fluoride in it, chlorine, other chemicals. China labels fluoride as a pesticide. It's often the main ingredient in rat poison. There's zero research for any benefits. It causes tooth decay, cancer, brain lesions. It makes people sterile, women sterile, and the overall masses docile. Folks, if you really think that the powers that be are trying to help us and you're waiting for them to come in with this magic wand and make your life better, it's not going to happen. It's up to us as free-thinking individuals to get together and use the word synergy in every sentence and demand to have the same rules, laws, and accountability for everyone on American soil.
You waiting for me to comment?
I can't wait.
Well, we're on our own. There's no one to call. I mean, we certainly can't call the government for help of any kind. I mean, I used to give out the phone number of Greg Burris, the city manager of Springfield, Missouri, when I was on a radio station in Springfield, Missouri. And, you know, for 7 months, I gave out his phone number and I told people to call him up and tell him he's fired for poisoning us. You know, I'm just addressing the fluoride issue, just the one little issue. And he's allowed to poison a couple 100,000 people a day. A couple 100,000 people a day are poisoned by this guy, Greg Burris. And I was told, well, he's not doing it. He's just a city manager. Okay, so who is responsible for doing it? He hires the guys that hire the guys that hire the guys that tell the guys what to do. And he knows it's poison and he's allowing it. So he's responsible. Okay, that's the way I look at it. And so I got thrown off the air for that, and probably talking about the Chinese factory outlet, which is Walmart, and a couple, and the Baptist church. Those kinds of, when they call the cops on me, if I go to an event and they call the cops on me. So I mentioned a few of these things. Next thing I know, I'm on vacation. And I haven't been back since. Well, you're absolutely right. There's no one to call, and we are literally on our own. We have to stand up for what we believe in. And that's the challenge, and that's the homework assignment to our class today. If you see something wrong, do what Janet Reno advises. If you see something, say something. So if you're in a cashier line and you don't like what's happening, say something. Talk to the person in front of you, talk to the person behind you, educate them, and try to bring them along with us, because we actually we're the minority. Most people would say, well, I just want to, go along to get along. I don't want to cause problems. Well, those people are not causing problems. Those people are being abused by the people who are causing the problems. We're not causing the problems. We're just saying no. We're saying we're not going to go along with it. We're not going to go along with this insanity. And there are plenty of people who have been injured by this system. I remember equal opportunity. Well, yeah, I think we should all have equal opportunity. But that doesn't mean let's find the least capable person and hire them because of some class that he or she may be in. If we're low on women, let's go get women. Really? Why not get the best possible candidates we can get? If we're low on men, why don't we just get the best possible candidates? What I'm saying is, if we look at the tally sheet and it says we don't have enough women, why should we have more women? Or why should we have more men? Or why should we have a specific race to just bring up these numbers? Why not be the best we can possibly be? Because, Rich Scheben, I remember having many, many performance evaluations in the time I actually had a job. And none of those performance evaluations said, hey, Vinny, considering what you have to work with, you're doing okay. Considering you've got an IQ of like 45, we're glad to have you here. We're glad you've been able to control not wetting your pants, most days. How has this happened? How have we fallen to the point where we're not getting the best production, the best quality, the best innovation? I have to tell you, Rich, I do not spend my time. I am absolutely guilty of this. I do not spend my time looking to lower the standards of USAPrepares.com. I don't go out and say, Rich Scheben's doing a really good job. Let's see if we can find somebody. I'm going to spend tomorrow finding someone who can hardly speak, who can hardly put a thought together. And because, we don't have very many of those. And we need to increase the number of people who cannot formulate a sentence. And we need to put them on the air because it's only right. I am absolutely not going to do that. My mission is to bring forth the best education to our broadcast classroom that I can. I am not going to reduce the standards. I'm going to raise the bar to the best I can rather than lower the bar. And that's what you've been talking about, Rich. You've been talking about lowering the bar.
Mm-hmm. Well, Vince, we have to remember this is designed to distract them down and divide us by groups. It's designed to insult certain groups and degrade certain groups, and it does nothing but divide us and does not create equality and synergy. Now, you mentioned, can I mention a couple of solutions real quick?
Yeah, that would be great. So, the best time to do those solutions, to talk about them, is after the break. Because if we do them before the break or during the break, if we do them right now, no one's going to hear us. We'll be back. Rich Scheben and I'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
If survivalist housing has been in your plans, get ready. We're bringing our Timberline range camps to you February 6th through 14th at the Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Get an up-close look at some of our most popular Timberline models, or visit survivalistcamps.com to pre-order a camp. We'll bring it to the show and save you the cost of shipping. It's the perfect time to get that camp you've wanted. Go to survivalistcamps.com, then plan on joining us at the Great American Outdoor Show in February in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Class Rich Scheben's with us, Off-Grid Montana. Off-Grid Montana is the website. And let's see. Okay. Rich, solutions.
Yes, sir. Okay. First of all, folks, I want to mention on February 22nd in Las Vegas this year, David Morgan has put together a bunch of speakers to create a solutions conference. And we're going to talk about everything about what we can do after the financial reset occurs. And there's going to be some pretty prominent speakers there besides David Morgan, Chris Martinson, Gregory Manarino, Adam Taggart, Robert Ian, and myself. So we're going to give ideas and solutions on how we can proceed with all this corruption and manipulation that's going, especially with everything that's happening to us financially, economically, socially, politically, health-wise. We're going to create a think tank and have discussions and plans of actions on what we can do. Right now, we don't just need brains, plans of actions, and strategies. We need guts. We have to forget about political correctness and say it like it is. My second solution, Vince, and I've mentioned this on the air and we've talked about it privately, I want everybody to write this down as well. AnnaVonReitz.com, AnnaVonReitz.com. This is a very brave woman. She lives up in Alaska. She's a common law judge in Alaska. She and many others representing the American people have filed a $279 trillion lien against the Department of Justice and the American Bar Association. You heard me right. She says things like the American Bar Association, the IRS, is owned and operated by private foreign debt collection agencies. She mentions how every county and state is incorporated and how it's a jurisdiction issue, folks. We are living under maritime or admiralty law, which is law of the sea and not law of the land. She talks about the phony central banks, the UN. She talks about how lawyers and judges have been unlawful in this country and how we need to convene grand juries around the country and go back to common law, which is in our Constitution. And this has nothing to do with class envy. It's an acknowledgement of the corruption and manipulation that's occurred in this country. And basically, from the people that I talk to, the powers that be are getting very desperate. And you can see it with the gun confiscation, gun grab that's just occurred with Obama. They're fearing a Nuremberg too. Now remember, people, there's no statute of limitations on fraud. So if we stick together and go and use our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence as a tool, the way the country was intended, a lot of these discussions that we have would not take place. All these isms like racism and sexism and thisism, it would be irrelevant because we'd be hired by hard work, effort, proven results, and qualifications in lieu of what group we're in, because the powers that be want us to infight. When you create that special tiered system of different rules, laws, and accountability, you create infighting and division on the bottom 93%, and the top 1-2% that controls the 6 corporations, the fascist system, the big oligarchy, and the big overwhelming, overreaching, tyrannical government that we have. Basically, it creates no accountability for them. So we have to stop infighting. We have to stop judging by what group we're in and judge by things like hard work, effort, proven results, and qualifications. And go back to common law, like Anna von Reitz. The name she uses in the book is Anna Marie Reitzinger, and apparently she has a very long name and she uses different names. So please look them up. I guarantee you this book will change your life and change America's life. And if you have the opportunity, folks, see us in Las Vegas on February 22nd. Vince, thank you so much for having me on.
Rich Scheben, thank you so much for being with us, and I just posted the writings of Judge Anna von Reitz, as discussed on USA Prepares, on page 1 of usaprepares.com. Rich Scheben's website, Off-Grid Montana. Off-Grid Montana, his book, One New York Man's Journey to Off-Grid Living in Montana. Rich Scheben, thank you so much. Coming up next, Katie Singer, an electronic silent spring. We're going to be talking about the dangers of some of the technologies that surround us. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy, or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. I'm delighted to be broadcasting this hour with Katie Singer. And her book is An Electronic Silent Spring. Katie Singer, KATIESINGER. Her website, electronicsilentspring.com. Link on the website, USAPrepares.com. Welcome, Katie.
Hello, Vincent.
Katie, you and I share a concern about electromagnetic radiation. And for most of us here in the United States, wherever we are, it is. And we're concerned about harm it can do. But the problem is, it's hard to get away from. And that's what today's broadcast is about. What do we do? What are your thoughts?
Well, I would start by clarifying that there's electromagnetic radiation emitted by the Earth and the sun and the solar wind, and we need all that stuff in order to function here. The stuff that's problematic is man-made electromagnetic radiation, and that comes from cell phones, Wi-Fi, smart meters, baby monitors, cell towers, power lines, transformers in just about every electronic device you've got. Basically, man-made electronics can and do emit different kinds of electromagnetic radiation that can have effects on our health and our ecosystem. And as you said, it's really hard to get away from it in a really tactile way. Schools are handing out iPads to children. They've got routers in every classroom so that there's Wi-Fi throughout the school. A lot of schools have cell towers on them. At work, I know so many people who are unable to keep a job unless they agree to having a phone. Rooftop, like office buildings can have antennas on them. It's really hard to function without this stuff. So if we have, when I think, okay, what can people do? For me, the first step is to admit we've got a problem. I have some ideas on what people can do that I have learned from a lot of other people, but I really can't know what's best for anyone in such a massive, especially because the situation is so massive. Everyone's going to have to find their own way with it. I can suggest some things after that step one of admitting we've got a problem. And I'm still kind of theoretical here because I'm going to say it's important that people ask this question, what are the health effects of this device? And then people have to do their own research. Ideally, they've got a friend who they can learn with and, study this stuff with. But it's a crucial question. What are the health consequences of using this device? And I just really want to bring that question into our conversation, as with everybody. What are the consequences of giving iPads to children, for example? Do we really want them to focus on relating to screens, or do we want them to keep learning eye-to-eye contact and conversation with another person? Which is more important for us? Once they get the iPad, what's going to happen for them? It's going to be harder for them to learn eye-to-eye contact. I'll say that's certainly my experience in the children in my life, that screen is so seductive. It's really hard to get away from it.
Katie, you were asking about, what are the health consequences or the health risks or the health concerns. I just typed in on the internet, do cell phones cause cancer? Here's the response. Although there have been some concerns that radio frequency energy from cell phones held closely to the head may affect the brain and other tissues, to date, there is no evidence from studies of cells, animals, or humans that radio frequency energy can cause cancer.
Can you say who's claiming that?
Let me see. Let me go back. I just typed in, do cell phones cause cancer? And that paragraph came up. Okay. And it doesn't say, let's see. Let's see if it's cell phones and cancer risk. Cancer.gov. Let's see. mcancer.gov. Well, it came up blank.
So let me come in here because there was just something released by the New York Times and also by ehtrust.org. That's environmentalhealthtrust.org, ehtrust.org. There was the CDC, our Center for Disease Control, had made this announcement a year ago, and it had a picture of a child with a cell phone. And the question was, do cell phones cause health problems in children? And the response was, on this thing produced by the CDC, it said, it's too soon to know for sure. Children who use cell phones and continue to use them as they get older are likely to be around radio frequencies for many years. If RF does cause health problems, kids who use cell phones may have a higher chance of developing these problems in the future. And this notice, which was going to go, was going to the public, it was retracted. I think within a few weeks of coming out. And the CDC stated that it retracted it because this text was too hard to understand. That's a quote. So it was completely removed from the CDC's website. And so I'm going to say it's very hard to get information available that is trustable and accurate. And therefore, I would say our best medicine is that old Hippocratic oath to first do no harm.
Sure.
And to take precautions as much as we can, especially with children. So if we can make limits in our own use of mobile devices and Wi-Fi and stuff like that, I think that's the best ticket, just to act in a precautionary way.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And if you search on the internet, you'll find that you'll find statements and posts and articles saying that there's no conclusive evidence, and then you'll see others that say, well, no, there is. There is evidence that there are health concerns and cancer risks and so forth regarding the use of these microwave-type frequencies and electromagnetic radiation. I'm very concerned, and as you know, I do not have a cell phone. However, we had a child, young man who was in school, and he was required to have a cell phone. I've talked with some nurses at hospitals, and they are required to be on call. So they don't really have a regular work schedule. They're on call all the time, and they're required to run to the hospital and be on duty at the beck and call of the hospital. So now we have changed our work hours from having a steady work, a job with steady hours, to being on call. And students are now sending and receiving messages from they're getting messages from the school telling them what they can and can't do and what their homework assignments are and so forth. And they're being required to have cell phones without a cell phone. And I've been able to do it. So this notion that we must have a cell phone in case we have a flat tire, if you know how to change a flat tire and you have a spare with air in it, is nonsense.
Or you can, flag somebody and just say, hey, can you help out? I don't know how to change a tire. And yeah, there are risks involved there. There are risks involved in just about everything we do. I really enjoy connecting with people when they're, when it's like, hey, I'm lost and I need directions, and I roll down my window and I get to interact with a kind stranger.
And there are kind strangers out there. They really are. And, a lot of people will help you when you need help. And that's absolutely true. So I'm really not concerned about not having a cell phone with me at all times. I am concerned about being tracked by cell phones. And Katie, I'm thinking about, we are now disguising cell phone towers because people say they're ugly. Okay, they're ugly.
Well, wait. Can I clarify that?
Sure.
Because in the Telecommunications Act of 1996, it states that no health or environmental concern can interfere with the placement of a cell tower. That's Section 704. It also states that a municipality can deny a permit to install a cell tower if people don't like how it looks, if the look of it will interfere with a neighborhood. So that's why they're disguised. It's to go in agreement with that act, from 1996.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and probably that's the least of the concerns, how it looks. It's what it does that is of greatest concern to me. And there are more and more antennas on cell towers every day. The towers that already exist, they're being more and more antennas are being added to them. Greater cell phone coverage, more electromagnetic radiation, and we're disguising cell phone towers as crosses. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Attention hardworking Americans over the age of 50. If you have basic computer skills, then you may qualify to earn a second income working from home. Income potential is up to $18 per hour. If you have customer service experience or other marketable skills, your income could be higher. The good news is, you will not be alone in this new career, because you'll be joining 53 million Americans working from home in this growing industry, and growing it is. If you have basic computer skills and would like to earn a second income from home, a new free report can give you all the information you need to get started. Again, the report is free, and you can receive it in minutes. All you have to do is visit realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com. To receive your free report, just visit realcashsecrets.com. But hurry, because this free offer could be discontinued. So go to realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
That's Katie Singer's with us, and her website, electronicsilentspring.com. And Katie, I'm looking at a post, and I'll put the link on the website, usaprepares.com. Cell towers, there are 25 cell phone towers disguised to look like something else. And this is a post dated August 13th, 2012. So there's a cell tower in, looks like a cactus in Arizona. I mean, it really looks like a cactus. And inside this tall cactus is a cell tower. And then there's another one that looks like a very tall pine tree. And in the pine tree are cell antennas. And then there's another one, and that one is where? Where is that one? I'm not sure where it is. There's another one that shows palm trees that are cell towers. There's another one that's a flagpole.
My concern also is they can also commonly be in church chimneys or steeples in churches.
There's a picture
I've seen them. There's a hotel near where I live that built another story on the hotel, and it looks like the place has 4 floors rather than 3 floors, but that top floor is covered in. It's filled with antennas, and people have no way of knowing if they're in a room or a patio right beside this. I mean, I see people having cocktails on patios right beside this floor that is actually not a floor. It's filled with antennas.
Mm-hmm. There are images on this post of trees, cell towers disguised as trees, and as you said, church steeples. Then there's art. These towers look like modern art or sculptural art, and there's a church cross in Lake Worth, Florida. It looks like a Christian cross, which is really a cell tower, and and it kind of looks like it's at a church or some religious organization, and that's the height of hypocrisy. Unbelievable.
In terms of the question, what is possible for people to do? There are some grounds for refusing a cell tower. They're getting increasingly limited. One thing people can claim is that fear of health problems can lower property values in the area. And that is, I believe that is still a legal argument that people can give. Once the tower goes up, then you were saying that more and more antennas can go on the tower, and that is my understanding, and often there's no permit process involved. The antennas simply go up. So again, I'm going to go back to this question, okay, what can we do? And I'm just going to, let me start naming some things that people can begin doing immediately. One is turn the Wi-Fi off for at least 12 hours at night. You don't want it on while you sleep. You want to turn it off at the router. And Vincent, I remember you were posting some directions on how people can do that. Also, you can just unplug the computer. Make sure it's unplugged, not just turned off. That's another way to do it. That is really important, especially if you've got children. You don't want the router near. I have been in some people's homes where the router is right beside the teenager's head while they're sleeping, and that's not good. You want the router far from you, and certainly while you're sleeping, you want it off. And now I'm going to add, you want the router off for at least 12 hours at night until you get wired internet access. And you're going to have to find out how to get wired internet access in your area. That's research.
And when we come back, Katie, I'd like to talk about what we mean by unplug your router, because there are lots of ways of thinking about that. And there's one sure way to unplug your router. And it's very simple. It doesn't cost anything, and it takes 1 second. We'll be right back.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack and was told I'd be on disability for the rest of my life. What did I do? I created Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. Clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Chronic inflammation is now known to block your ability to repair and compromises your immune system, making you more vulnerable to all diseases. Since poor diet, injuries, or stress are all contributing factors, many people suffer from inflammation. Your body's #1 means of neutralizing inflammation and the pain that it may be causing is glutathione. Glutathione is the body's #1 peptide to neutralize free radicals and thus stop inflammation.
Hi, my name is Jason. I'm 44 years old. For 10 years, I had been suffering from chronic pain in my abdomen and groin that radiated down into my feet. After 3 weeks on One World Way, the pain in my feet reduced by 50%, and the overall pain in my body reduced significantly as well. I ran out of One World Way, and the pain returned. I got another container, and again, after 3 weeks, the pain reduced significantly throughout my body. I'd highly recommend One World Way to anyone dealing with chronic pain due to inflammation.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldway.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
Class, I'm working on a post regarding electromagnetic radiation. And I haven't completed it yet, but I will be posting that for discussion on Monday. And it's of it's of significant concern to me. And it's about a technology that I think needs to be stopped before it gets deployed in in a wide area. I'm talking about more electromagnetic radiation in schools and homes and the mall and everywhere we go. And I have a lot of reasons for being concerned, and I'll explain those on Monday's broadcast with Captain John Regan. But, Katie, we were talking about the router, and the easiest way to stop the electromagnetic radiation in your house is to unplug this router, this wireless router, when you're not using it. And how do you unplug it? You unplug it at the transformer or the wall wart, as they're called, that little blob that has the plug on the end that you can insert into your wall outlet. Unplug that, and you absolutely positively stop the electromagnetic radiation, the Wi-Fi coming out of that router. Now, if you want to watch television and on your PC and the signal comes through your router, of course you're going to stop that. But the plan is to stop that signal when you're not using it, for sure. And
I also know... Go ahead.
There's a way that you can go into your router and tell it to turn off the wireless component. And you can easily call your internet provider and say that you've got this model router, and you look on the bottom of it and it'll have the make and model, and tell them that you want to turn off the wireless component of your router. It's a very simple, easy, probably a 3, 4, or 5 minute proposition, for the first time you try to do it, and then it becomes very, very simple. It only takes maybe a minute at the most after that first time. And what you really want to do is use wired internet, and that would be through an Ethernet cable. Now, I have a wireless router right here in the studio with me. However, the wireless component is turned off, and I'm only using the wired component. So I have Ethernet cables running all over the studio so that I can have these, the internet and so forth. But I do not have wireless in the home.
And I also know families who, when they turn off the router, they also lose telephone access.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a concern, which puts people back into research mode for finding out how can you get wired access in your area. Yeah. Can we go through some other things that people can do in their own homes?
Yes.
I've just learned about a cool technique, which is to turn your mobile phone into a voice messaging device. So instead of keeping it on 24/7, which means you're going to be getting zapped 24/7 because it is constantly going to be asking, hey, do I have a message? Did I get a message? And every time it asks that question, it makes a connection with the nearest cell tower. And you're going to get the electromagnetic radiation from that. So if you turn your phone off, and off means airplane mode, you really want to know what off means. Be sure that you know what it means. And then put the alarm on so that, say, it signals you every 2 hours if you've got a message. And then you get a life back for a couple hours, and you don't get zapped for those 2 hours. So that's another trick. Also, I would say it's really important not to use a mobile device in a moving vehicle. And the reason there is every mile while your phone connects to a new cell tower, a new base station, the phone goes to maximum power. And that means there's a lot more electromagnetic radiation involved. Much of that is going to get trapped inside the car, which is a metal box. And, if you're going down the highway at 60 miles an hour, that means you're going to, basically be in a constant exposure of maximum power inside a metal box. So keep the phone off while you are in the vehicle, whether you're a passenger or a driver. And obviously, if you're the driver, there are yet more reasons for not using a mobile device while you're driving. I can keep going. Vincent, do you have comments?
Please do.
Okay. let's see. The bedroom is really important. You really want to protect your sleep. And so keep things unplugged in the bedroom. You don't want to be charging anything near your head while you sleep. You don't even want one of those $10 alarm clocks near your head because they have magnetic fields that are not good for human beings. So get a battery-operated alarm clock. Also, in many cases, people will have a breaker box on the other side of the wall from their bedroom. In that kind of a case, you want to move the bed as far from the breaker box as possible, or just make that an area that, has, stuff stored in there, in that area that you don't go to very often. You can also have a refrigerator on the other side of the wall from your bed. That would also not be good. So you want to take note of what is on the other side of walls from your bed and also what is inside your bedroom. Like, you don't want the television going all night long while you're sleeping. Keep it unplugged. Unplugged is better than off. Off is better than on.
And Katie, let's talk about why you're saying unplugged. And the reason is, class, if you have a remote control for your television, and just about every television out there has a remote control, that really means that your television is on at some level, a small level. And the reason it's on is so it can receive that signal from the remote control to tell it to turn itself on the rest of the way. So it's on a standby mode, and then when you turn it on with the remote, as you think you're turning it on, you're actually turning it on completely. So it really is on all the time, unless it's unplugged, or unless you have one of those power strips that has an on-off switch that goes click, an on-off switch that literally disconnects the power from the outlets on the power strip or the surge protector.
I have a good example there with the power strip, using a power strip. We rent our house, and we have an oven with a digital display on it, that says you press buttons if you want to bake it, and it has a digital clock and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the magnetic fields coming from that thing are really intense.
Absolutely.
So we unplugged the whole stove top oven thing, and we plugged it into a power strip, and we keep that off all the time. And then to use the burners, we have strikers, and we just light them with the match, with the striker fire, to light the burners. I might use the oven once a week, and at that time I turn the power strip on, and then I can access the oven. So I might have those magnetic fields going for an hour, when I'm using the oven. But I keep the whole thing unplugged unless I need the oven. If you've got an appliance like a refrigerator or something that you need on all the time, this is really hard, but I'm going to say if you can go to the Habitat Restore or something, find an old refrigerator that does not have a digital display on it and trade it out. That would be worthwhile. Microwave ovens often have those digital displays on all the time, and I don't love microwave ovens. I've actually never used one. There's certainly one in the house that we rent, and we just keep it unplugged all the time. We never turn that one on.
Katie, what you're saying is very significant, and what you're saying is that the ovens, the stovetops, the ranges of today have digital displays, and they have igniters. And the reason that they have these igniters, you turn, like if it's a gas range, it has an igniter typically to light the flame around the burner, and that has replaced the pilot lights. So now we have these. And to make it convenient for us, these igniters are always readily available 24
They're
hours a day.
electronic lighters. Yeah.
Right. They're electronic lighters that create these sparks like a spark plug would in a gasoline engine in a vehicle. The reason that the oven is powered up all the time with the electronics is so that you can turn that gas knob to on. It sparks, lights the flame, and you're good to go. The older style ovens had pilot lights, but people thought that, well, it wastes a lot of gas. The other alternative is to do what you do and just light the stove when you want with a match or a lighter, right?
Yeah. A striker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So there are alternatives, and I have gone around our kitchen with a tri-field meter, and I've looked at the electromagnetic radiation in the kitchen. And what I found is the digital displays. We have a General Electric gas range, drop-in range, I guess it's called. And it has a digital display that controls the bake and broil. Without that running, you can't use the oven. You can use the stove top, but you can't use the oven without being plugged in. And that clock, that electronic assembly, produces a lot of electromagnetic radiation, as does a microwave oven in our kitchen, which we use as a range hood to exhaust the odors outside the house. That has a lot of electromagnetic radiation when it's just showing the clock display. And the refrigerator, when that's running, an enormous amount. And the freezer, the same. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Did you know that home break-ins increase more than 100% during the holidays? It takes just 10 seconds for an intruder to kick in your door, but police response to a home alarm system is more than 20 minutes, and intruders are in and out of your home in 5 minutes. Thieves know that you're not home and have presents inside just waiting to be taken. And if you are home, how safe will you feel with an intruder lurking inside with your family? That's why police across the country are recommending you use door armor. Proven to withstand the force of a battering ram, door armor keeps intruders out. It's easy to install and barely visible, and your door armor is guaranteed for life. Go to InvasionStopper.com for a very special buy one, get one at half off deal. These savings are for a limited time and only available to GCN listeners. Protect your valuables and loved ones this holiday season. Go to InvasionStopper.com now. That's InvasionStopper.com.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Go to GCNteam.com or call 855-GCN-MALL. That's 855-426-6255. GCNteam.com or 855-426-6255. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Why be held hostage by your wireless carrier for 2 years? What if you had no contract, no activation fees, no hidden costs, tracking, tracing, harvesting customer data, or draconian gimmicks, all on the nation's best 4G LTE network? Introducing Pix Wireless. Bring your phone and other qualifying devices to Pix and to choose a plan starting at only $14 a month. Get connected now. Call or click 1-866-267-2056 or pixwireless.com, spelled P-I-X, wireless.com. Pick Pix and get connected today.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Class Katie Singer's with us, and her website is electronicsilentspring.com. Her book is anelectronicsilentspring.com, and you can buy your copy at amazon.com. I have a copy. I've read the book cover to cover. I think if you decide to purchase this book, you will be inclined to do what I did, and that is dump your cell phone. Katie Singer, one of the things, we're talking about electromagnetic radiation, and I want to eliminate as much of it as possible in our house. When I built the house many years ago, I used what's called recessed lighting or can lights, and these are these light bulbs in the ceilings, and they're easy to maintain. There's no dusting and that kind of thing, and so I bought a bunch of them, and I populated them with compact fluorescent lights because I wanted to reduce the electricity cost by about 75%. And I did. Here's the problem. These lights, these compact fluorescent lights, as well as regular fluorescent lights, emit electromagnetic radiation. And it's a concern, and there are plenty of posts, and I'll put one on the website right after this next break, about the concern of electromagnetic radiation, and it's possibly carcinogenic. So last night, we have a dog who's experiencing some seizures, and there's a possibility that seizures are related to compact fluorescent lights. So I went through the kitchen, and I'm pulling out all of these compact fluorescent light bulbs, and I'm replacing them with incandescent light bulbs. Yes, and they're using a lot more electricity. However, I really like the change back to the old technology. However, Hillary Clinton's been involved in destroying the incandescent light bulb market, and it's really hard to get some wattages of incandescent light bulbs now. So now I have to switch everything to LED lighting at 12 volts, and that's my plan. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I am still learning about light bulbs. I've known that compact fluorescents are not healthy. My understanding is that they require an electronic ballast, which is a kind of power supply that it'll put harmonics on your wires, and that's not good. We're all learning about lighting, and compact fluorescents also typically have mercury in them, and that goes into the landfills. That's not good. If, God forbid, you should break one in your house, then you've got to deal with the mercury. So Yes, incandescents are probably the healthiest alternative. I have heard that LEDs are not great. The only kind that I've heard that may keep the power clean on the wires is when they're at 120 volts. But
you mean 120 or do you mean 12 volts?
I'm pretty sure it's 120, but I'm, you know what? I should say I'm pretty sure. I think let me say I don't know the answer there.
Okay, I'm going to switch our lighting as best as possible from AC lighting, meaning 120
Wait, you know
volts.
what? I know what. It's 120 volts with halogens.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, I know that there are lots of people who've been tracking the LEDs and finding problems with them, that they also will put noise on the wires. I think they need a linear power supply with the LEDs, but I don't know that there's a manufacturer doing that right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to say...
Katie, the power supply that I'm going to use is a battery, a 12-volt car battery.
You're going to stay in DC. Yeah.
I'm going to stay in DC, yes.
Okay, great. Anyway, yes, we are all still learning. And I'll say on my website, I have electronicsilentspring.com. If you go to the Get Informed button, I have different categories for people looking for more information on lots of different topics. electronicsilentspring.com. electronicsilentspring.com. And there'll be a post on page 1 of our website, and right across the navigation bar on the top of Katie's website, Get Informed. You can click on that and follow along with that information. Katie Singer, I want to thank you so much for being with us and sharing your knowledge and experience with our class and helping us find solutions to this overwhelming problem of electromagnetic radiation. Thanks so much. By now you know that usaprepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.